let's take it back to 1989. So Dion, you are one of the founding members with Sean. So how did the group come about?
Okay, actually, I'm one of the founding members with Sean and Claude Thomas, who's actually in this role as well. Me and Sean had met way back in, the late 80s, and, we were more of a duo / running around rapping and beatboxing before, we started to actually get the members in place. From there, we were not a group at that time. We were actually just like two people that really didn't get along with each other. But somehow, the music connected us. And then, we were joined in 1991 with Claude Thomas. And that's when we formed a group called As Yet Untitled.
Yep, it was about January of 1991, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like
something
real
like,
early.
It was early 1991, and we started the group. It was called As Yet Untitled, and then was it late 1991 or early 1992, late 1991, middle 1991? We picked up Kenny Terry, and that's basically how the group formed. And we were performing for quite a long time before we actually turned professional.
So what's the meaning behind As Yet?
As Yet is a name that we came up with because we didn't want to be stigmatized to one specific genre of music. We didn't want nobody to say, oh, well, they're an R&B group, or, they're a country group, or they're a pop group. We didn't want no parts of it. So we purposely seeked out to try to find a name that was fitting for just that kind of style, because we think we represent all styles of music, because we can do it all. Mm-hmm. So then, there was this song on Terrence Trent D'Arby's album called As Yet Untitled, which, and then we just figured that's perfect. And we went on with it. I don't think there was not one hesitant voice to say they didn't like that name. We heard it, we flowed with it. And then by the time we got our record deal, Babyface cut the Untitled off, and we just became As Yet.
Right. So speaking of Babyface, his mother-in-law, Jacqueline, she caught wind of the demo tape and gave it to Babyface. So how did she get the demo tape?
Wow. There was a cats in Philly that we were kind of like going back and forth with, because, at the time, we were seeking to get representation outside of Philly. We had some cats send a cassette tape off to somebody in LA. And the story that I remember is that cat was like in a Circuit City or something, and was dubbing the tape or something, and he ran into Babyface's brother-in-law, who actually said, I'm Babyface's brother-in-law, I can make this happen. And then it happened from there. From the story that I remember, I mean, that's 25 years ago, just about, but yeah.
So what was it like meeting a Babyface for the very first time?
Claude?
Oh, me? Okay. Yeah. Well, to me, it was exciting. I'm sorry to say I had enough right when we were about to sign for the deal. So I really never got a chance to get to know him and a lot of the other world famous people, but I was really excited, it was like a one in a lifetime chance.
Right. And when we met him, it was like, wow, this is really happening. I mean, the crazy thing is that we were so confident that if we just was able to meet this guy, because you know, other than reading our book, I'm not going to give it all up, but other than reading our book, you know, there was a lot of things going on that was negative about, you know, things that were said about us in Philly from our representation that they didn't want us to get further. And there was a lot of negative stuff going on about us and Babyface, which had never happened because we had never met him at the time. So that's kind of like a story you're going to have to get off of our story, because, you know, our story is coming out. But, you know, and then when we met him, it was like, wow, he's right there. Bam, here we go. We were so confident at that point. We was like, oh, because Jackie, his mother-in-law had told us, you know, months before that, before we even got to meet him, that if, you know, you guys, what Kenny Babyface Edmonds said, that if you guys sound half as good as this cassette tape, you guys got a record deal. So we sang for her right there. We sang like 10, 11 songs. We sang until people came knocking at the hotel door, like, shut up. And she called him on the spot, and she was like, you're not going to believe how good these guys sound. And then from there, it was just incredible. And, you know, we got to meet him. We sang for him. He told us, you know, we sang for him. He had about 4 or 5 record labels in the house at his concert, you know, ready to hear us. So we went in a room, and there was like almost 25 people in this room. And, you know, we just sang with no microphones, no nothing. And we sang about 5 songs. And then after that, he asked us if we could open up his show, which was him, El DeBarge, and I guess it was just him and El DeBarge. And he asked us to open up that show, and there we was. And from there, everything was a go.
So before we talk about your debut album, as far as the group change members, was that something amongst you guys, or did the label have something to do with it?
Every group change, except possibly one, you know, was us, completely us, and ourselves, and the things that happened between us. Right. Not saying that a member replaced by a management or anything like that. That case was just one. I'm gonna leave it at that.
No
but
problem.
Most of it was us.
Mm-hmm. So in 1996, you dropped your multi-platinum debut album. So let's talk about the recording process, because you had heavy hitters from Sheila E., Babyface, David Foster, Brian McKnight on that album. So I know the pressure in that studio was tremendous. So what was the recording process like?
That was a lot of fun. There was no pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Only pressure was how quick can we get it done?
Right.
But no, I mean, no, the process was fun because we already knew how to record. It's just being in a real big recording studio with the big board and the whole room and all that. No, that's when we knew things were real. So yeah, it was
right.
And it was. I'm gonna say it's been fun because no matter how much we thought we knew, we still was able to learn more. Right. We were self-contained before we even met, baby. So that dog up. Mute button. But yeah, we were already self-contained when Babyface heard us. So that was one of the reasons why he took us on.
So that was such a classic album. So what are some of the highlights that you remember while recording in the studio?
Wow. Like, you know, one of our main goals when we were coming up in the game was to at least work with somebody from Take 6 in the future. I mean, Take 6 was everything to us at the time. So when we got a chance to work with Mervyn Warren, I mean, we were all sitting around in the studio with Mervyn Warren, the 5 of us, and Mervyn, and Babyface had told us, you know, just make fire, make some fire. And you know, Mervyn Warren was so cool enough to hear our harmonies and to hear how we did things, and he listened to ideas. He put gestures in that we came up with, and it was just a whole group collaboration. And that was one of the most memorable things that I could remember about people that we worked with and things that we've done. Just actually sitting there with Mervyn Warren, somebody who actually created the music like David and Goliath and Getaway Jordan. I mean, these masterpieces that they did, and that was mind blowing for me personally. Yeah.
Okay.
Me too.
And Claude, yourself?
Well, you know, like I said before, I wasn't a part of the whole situation because I left right when we were about to sign. You know, I had some personal issues, so you know, I missed out. I'm here on the second go around, and we're just, you know, I'm here to learn, and I'm here to, you know, put out who I am so people can see who I am, and you know, get to know me,
right.
You know, and I'm just so, like I always tell them, I'm so appreciative of the fact that I'm back, you know. But as far as all of the people out there, I've really never got a chance to meet the world-class people that they've met yet, not at the level that they have yet. So all that's coming.
And let me just say to your audience and everybody who's a little confused or whatever, you know, Claude Thomas is an original member. He is our original leader, our original arranger. He is responsible for a lot of the initial sound that Wild Baby. You know, it was very heartbreaking for the management and for Babyface when Claude had to take his leave of absence. I mean, we were good enough to press on because we had been taught a lot. You know, we'd done a lot in our years from 1990 to all the way to 1995. I mean, we learned a lot in those years, and we taught each other well.
Yeah. And that's what I want to say. We taught each other. You know, I grew with you guys. We all grew together. And yeah, so go ahead.
And basically pretty much, you know us, you know, we've had more switched out members and things that we've done, but for the most part of it, the core of the group has always been what we do. And, you know, there's a lot of things going on, you know, ex-members talking and stuff like that. But, you know, when you have the nucleus of what you've been trying to do and what you've been doing, you know, it's unstoppable. It's unstoppable. And we've been blessed to continue because it's supposed to happen.
Right. So in 1996, there were so many heavy hitters in the game, but you guys had the biggest ballad in 96. So what was it like when you guys released Last Night in the reviews, how it reached the top charts? How was that experience like?
I'm gonna say it was surreal because I mean it got to a point where I think it was Vibe magazine had a big center page of photo shoot of us comparing us to Boyz II Men. Boom, boom, boom.
Right, from the same
and
the same place.
I think that the blessing of it all is that, you know, we always wanted to be where Boyz II Men was because we were always, you know, cool with them. You know, they're like our neighbors. It was like right around the corner. So us being from Philly and them being from Philly, it was always, okay, well, if they can do it, I know we can do it. We're next. It was never a thing of competition, though they tried to make it that way, but hey, it was fun.
When you say they, he mean the people, the people in our neighborhoods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he don't mean Boyz II Men. We are really cool. You know, they some cool brothers from Philly, and we love them.
Right.
But we were just so happy the fact that the situation that we found ourselves in, they pretty much put us right there with them on that level. So, yeah, right. That's why it was surreal.
They took off and sold a bazillion copies and shit. But we sold a few billions, so but yeah.
And your follow-up single, your Grammy-nominated song, it's hard to say I'm sorry. What inspired that song?
Wow. I'm going to say that we were in the midst of doing our album, and we asked if we could do an a cappella because, that's what we do. We were we're halfway through the album, and we had asked, and at that point, a member that we were with at the time decided to take it upon himself and go arrange the song and put it together and bring it forth. And it actually was so good that everyone loved it. And, we're not with that member anymore, but, we want to give him credit because he's crying about it,
right?
But it's all good. That song is very dear and special to us because, that song signatured what we were doing. Like, there was a song that we did, Brian McKnight's song called One Last Cry. That song was kind of like everyone in Philly that we performed in front of, because, we were our hometown favorite kind of like group before nobody even knew us outside of Philly. So One Last Cry was kind of like an a cappella that we did. And that was the song that Babyface requested us to sing on his show. It was an a cappella that we did. And hard to say I'm sorry, it was exactly in that realm. And it was, even though we had lost our dedicated arranger at the time, which was Claude Thomas, which you've never heard arrangements like what Claude was doing. I mean, it was so different than what everybody else was doing. He took pieces from all different groups and put them together. But we were so strong in that point that, we were able to put that together without anyone else's help, which a member of the group had put it together. So, but it still was the signature of who we were. And that was the blessing about it.
Nice.
So that song went, that song with Last Night is still taking us around the world, still taking us to, places to perform, and people still love us for. So we love that song.
So in 2006, you guys released Back Home, and in 2016, She's Magic. So what occurred that you guys took a few years off to release those records?
Well, first, we never released Back Home. That was not a release. That was a slip of something that wasn't supposed to be out there, whatever. So whatever happens with that was done at that time. So, but that was our material or whatever at the time. So, that's another story.
Yeah.
But, there was certain things that was going on in the industry that wasn't the same anymore. You know what I mean? Like that genre of music was slowly fading to things that were coming forth, and that was being pushed in the back burner. So we would just, do sporadic shows. We would go to Amsterdam. We had gotten offers to come back to Australia and a few other places. So we were kind of like doing sporadic things, but we had never lost touch of what we were doing. We did the Marvin Gaye, my brother Marvin play. We had basically, we went to Malaysia. We had cut a song over there and shot a video. And we were just making our rounds. It was very seldom, but we were making sure that we were keeping that trademark going by honoring our work.
Mm.
So what's you guys' take on the music industry as of right now?
I'll take that question. I haven't said anything yet. What's up, bro? I'm Kareem. I would say, there's a lot of great music that's out there right now. I guess it's the youngsters' new take on R&B. I don't like to diss people, but some of it, ain't my cup of tea personally. But I respect everybody's artistry, and I'm sure my bros do as well. I just think it's people have different approaches to the way they want to do it. You know what I mean? They want to be different, just as Yet was different when the group came out before I was in the group. I think some of it's good, but I think the industry still needs a Band-Aid.
Okay. So,
Right.
so I'm growing up. I've always heard stories about people shopping their demos. So the grind was there. So this generation, do you think success is given to them on a silver platter because of social media?
No,
It depends what you call
worse.
success. Yeah, it
It's
depends what you
actually
call
worse
success.
now. I mean, now the floodgate is open so wide. It's open. So you really got to do a lot of tricks to end up writing a song like, and it going viral. I mean, it happens more often nowadays because the floodgates are bigger. But real talented groups, it's just crazy because they not, a lot of people ain't looking for that. People want to be entertained now. So you got to mix a lot of that. What we try to do is we mix our vocal theatrics and what we've learned over the years, with some acting and everything that we do in between to make it interesting, because you gotta come with it. But today's music and everything is all meshing together. So
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are R&B royalty. So what can we expect next from you guys to keep the legacy going?
Well, the key word is legacy. You can expect class, you can expect sexiness that's not gone, and you can expect just longevity. We've lasted this long, we still got a long way to go.
Yeah, and based on the question you asked earlier, we definitely would like to play our part in putting some romance back into the music game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Not dead.
So before we wrap up, for the fans that have supported you since 1989 up until today, what would you like to say to them?
Thank
Wow.
you.
We love y'all so much.
Just want to say
Wow.
thank you.
Well, let me just say that our true fans and our loyal fans, I mean, we are being trailed by ex-members right now, and it's funny. It's real funny. But we reading the posts and everything, and we read what people think, and we are so grateful that our true fans stay patient. They understand. They love the individuals. They love the individuals who are not here, and they still love the core of what we do. So we're thankful for that. And we just going to continue to bring the best harmonies and love that we possibly could throughout the coming years.
Perfect. Any last few words before we wrap up?
Yeah, I would like to say to everyone that's watching that sees this, make sure you follow us on Instagram at @thereal.asyet, and go check out our new single, Kleptomaniac, available on all digital platforms right now.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Perfect. And it's been a pleasure, and thank you so much. And make sure you go and get their new single.
Kleptomaniac.
Kleptomaniac.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for keeping it classy, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, anytime.
Last act.
All right.
Exactly.